Hello! So tonight we are having spaghetti squash for dinner. And if you have never made it, it is so easy. It's super simple and it is super tasty. So I'm going to show you how to do it. And Cam is going to show you his popsicle. It's not frozen yet, but he really wants to eat it. So this is what a spaghetti squash looks like. And it is different than other squash because, yes, because once it cooks, the flesh becomes really stringy. So I'll show you when we pop it out of the oven how you can use a fork and it becomes like little thin spaghetti noodles. So what we're going to do is cut this in half long ways. Okay, so we're gonna have two halves that we put on our baking sheet. And this is always the hardest part for me because the outer skin of the squash is pretty hard. But move the knife all the way around. Okay, whew. And I'm gonna try to go at it from this side now and cut through. And I try to do it even, but it can be really hard to do sometimes. So then you will see, now that we have it cut in half, and I didn't do a good job of getting it even, but there's all kinds of, how do we call this, like pulp and seeds inside, kind of like a pumpkin. So what you are going to do is take a big spoon, and you're gonna scrape all of the inside out. So we are going to scrape out the insides here. And it's really easy to do. It comes out really nicely.
I got one.
Just like the insides of a pumpkin.
I got one, Mama.
And if you have never tried spaghetti squash before, it is really delicious. So I do think that you know, there really is no comparison for, you know, good old noodles, but this is pretty darn good, so I would recommend giving it a try. So I'm scooping out all the insides here. I have a little bit more here, but just kind of get all the gookies out. So it looks like this. I'm going to do the same with the other side too. But what you're going to do is just like drizzle on and rub on a little bit of olive oil and salt and pepper and any other kind of seasonings that you really like. So that's it. So it's really healthy. So get that off. So I have my olive oil here. I like to put it in a little pinch bowl because if I pour it right out of the bottle, I usually end up using too much. So I just kind of drizzle it over top. And then I do rub it around with my fingers because I want to get it on the top part and on the inside here. And really a lot of olive oil isn't needed. You even could do it without. You could just do a little olive oil cooking spray and spray it on top. I think for me, I just like to do it because I feel like it keeps it a little bit moist on top. So I've rubbed around this olive oil, so we're all set to go. And next I'm just going to do my seasoning. So I use some mixed up salt that has some salt and herbs in it. And I just sprinkle that on. And I like to do a little pepper. Do that, and that's it. And then you just take a baking sheet. I always line mine with parchment paper. I love parchment paper. It makes cleanup super easy. Just put on, I'll put my other half on. I have my oven preheated to 350 or 375, so I think I did mine tonight to 375, and I'm gonna let it cook for about 30 to 40 minutes, and you will know when it's done. You can kind of put your fork in there. The flesh will start pulling away really easily from the outer skin, and it'll be ready to go. So I will see you back here when our spaghetti squash is done cooking. Okay, so we are back. Our squash is cooked. I did have to put it in for an extra 15 minutes. It was a little bit thicker than I thought it was, so it was about 45 minutes total in the oven at 375, and it is perfect and ready to go. So what we will do is, if you can, I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. So,
and Mommy, I touched it.
You touched it. All right.
Yeah.
So you can see what's happening here. Okay. So I tested it before I pulled it out of the oven. You just stick your fork in here and scrape this. Do you see how that flesh is coming up? It is like little strings of spaghetti, and it just pulls away from the flesh so easily. I'm just scraping it out of the shell, and you'll see that the shell is starting kind of to get bare. You see that? All those strings of your spaghetti, that's your spaghetti squash right there. So you just keep working your fork around, all around the outside, and this is like really hot, so I like to use tongs to hold this in place while I'm scraping with my fork. And once you've pulled it all out, and this makes a ton, so like as for one serving, this is a lot, and you will be extremely full. Sometimes I do 2 whole spaghetti squashes, and then we have leftovers as well, which is always nice. So I got that all out. You can see like this is essentially empty now, it's bare. I'm gonna do the same thing for this shell, and this is gonna be a huge serving. This up a little bit. Okay, so I have my whole bowl of spaghetti here. Tonight we are going to top our spaghetti squash just with red sauce. I have some pre-cooked chicken we're gonna put in here, a little bit of mozzarella, probably some basil, and that's it. So it's super healthy. You're missing out on all the, you know, that really super full feeling. I always get a really full feeling when I eat pasta. And so this keeps me full, but I don't feel like blah when I'm done eating it. So it's really good. You could just put a little bit of olive oil on this and maybe some fresh tomatoes and basil and fresh mozzarella and make like caprese spaghetti squash. So there's all kinds of things you can do with it. You can just add vegetables. It's really versatile and it's really delicious. So that's it. I hope that you will try spaghetti squash sometime and love it as much as we do. Bye-bye.